Thank you very much. It's good to be here. I want to tell you a little bit about myself. I am not a politician. I've been in the business world for over 40 years with the same company. I was born on Main Street at Shepherd's Clinic. I've lived on Lookout Mountain in Walker County my entire life. I've worked in the grocery retail business, and I've ran districts in Knoxville, Tennessee, and Alabama. And I lived out of hotel rooms and apartments because I would not give my home up out on Lookout Mountain. I believe in honesty and integrity. I'll be extremely careful what I tell you today because it's very, very important to me if I say something that I do what I say. So I have ran multi-million-dollar budgets. I help build my budget. I negotiate what it's going to be for our business, and then I'm held accountable for that budget on a monthly basis. My budget, and I'm a little hesitant to say this because a lot of people say, who is Darrell Massey? I have worked my life and not really been in the spotlight, and I've done that on purpose. The only reason I'm sharing this information today is to be able to get elected, as people need to know who I am. I'm a member of Mount Carmel Gospel Church. I do the song leading there. It's a small church my grandfather founded and built. I'm a fifth-generation farmer. One of our farms is out on 136, and we have a cabin out there that was built in 1860. I'm very involved with charities and volunteer work. I'm currently helping already, and I'll continue that whether I'm elected or not, with things outside the county. I've got a volunteerism award from our company for helping food banks in 3 states, Tennessee, Georgia, and Alabama. I'm currently helping with the Empty Stocking Fund, and I say my team and I have over 1,200 people that report to me. The Stocking Full of Love and the Care Mission. And I'm already working with Joe LeGee on getting census data. I approved him and his volunteers to go in our stores to get data for the county so that we can get better information. My wife Kelly and I have been married 38 years. She was a Walker County Teacher of the Year. Very proud of that. My dad and I raised purebred Angus cattle from Berry College on Lookout Mountain, and my family are very blessed. And the main reason, my brother, who's my campaign manager, said, why in the world are you signing up for this at this point in your career? And he asked me that about 3 times. And I had to think on it, I had to sleep about it, because something was driving me to do it. And I think it goes back to helping the homeless that I have been involved with as recent as February. And also the fact that I've been extremely blessed to live in Walker County. And I would love to give back to the community and help the county be one of the best counties and lead the way in the state of Georgia. Thank you very much.
My name's Mike Nolan, and I've been married over 40-something years to my wife. We got 6 grandkids. And you probably want to know why I'm running, because my 2 boys come to me and said, Dad, why are you doing this? You're not a crook. I said, praise the Lord. And I tell you this, I'm born again. I go to Peavine Baptist. And the reason why I'm running, I got 4 things that I can bring to this county. I worked in road construction building for over 10 years. I know how to build, what it takes to make a good road and the wastefulness. Secondly, I work in transportation, so I know about the transportation needs of our county and of our assisted living and our retirees that ride the bus. Know how it needs to be done. Thirdly, I had a small business for over 10 years. I know what it takes to pay taxes and how to get it done. Fourthly, I worked on the farm. And everybody thinks, well, what'd you do? I said, I dug post holes, put barbed wire up. I used to do the bale haze on the wagon and then throw it up in the loft, because my wife's granddaddy said, you're the big guy, you get up there and throw it in here to us. So I did. And I know what it takes for a farmer to do what he has to get done and what it takes. And mainly, it's just all my life here. And I know I can get started as soon as, if I were elected, you won't have to wait on me. I'll be retired. I'll be 68 in July. and I still got the gold power. And where I work at, all my customers like me because I got that motivation. I know how to get it done. They like it. And that's the way I bring here in this county to help it out. And I know what a budget is because me and my wife raised 2 boys, and they always had their needs. And we taught our kids about what you have to do in life and how to put a budget together and not spend here, or do you want it? Do you need this? Sometimes you have to step back and say, no, we don't need this. We need this more. We need this. And that's the way I'll bring to the board. I'll be thinking about the taxpayer, and it's just like the sheriff department. They need things. The county workers need things. The buses need things for our kids to be transferred from point A to point B to school. Make sure that your buses are in good shape and everything. And have good quality drivers, which we got good quality drivers, and we don't want to lose no more. We want to keep what we got. Because I want to see this county one day being saying, Walker County, we want to be like Walker County, what they did, and bring it up for a family to live here and have enjoyment to live here. Because I love Walker County. Because one of my boys went to Ridgeland. He graduated there in '96. My youngest one went to Gordon Lee. So I got part of this county split up. And just like small businesses, I go to them and I've been asking. I want to see what your needs is and what you have to do, because a small business is very important to this county and everything. And I do appreciate your time, and may God bless.
Hello, everybody. Glad to see you out here this afternoon. Thank you, gentlemen, for having us. My name is Alan Slavin. I have lived on Lookout Mountain all my life. My lovely wife, stand up, sweetheart. That's my lovely wife there. We went together about 5 years, then we got married. I decided I ought to keep her. We've been married about 46 years. We've got 3 kids. Very proud of my children. We all went to, myself and my children, we all went to Fairland Elementary, then I went to Rossville High School where I graduated. My children, they went to Gordon Lee where they graduated. They went on to college and got their own careers. I've got 2 children that became teachers. My youngest daughter, my baby girl, she moved to Chicago where she's teaching. My youngest son, he teaches at the middle school at over there in Catoosa County, Lakeview Middle School. He's an 8th grade science teacher. He's a soccer coach. And my oldest son lives in Tifton, Georgia, where he works for New York Life. My brothers, I had 2 brothers that served in Vietnam. One brother served in the Desert Storm. My oldest son, after he completed college, he joined the military. He ended up going to Iraq and served his time in Iraq. So we are basically a family that is freedom orientated. We believe in fighting for our cause. Now, in my time, I got drafted, and I was going to have to go, but they decided, I guess, that I need to stay home, so they ended the draft. But anyway, I'm done running out of time here. So I appreciate this opportunity to serve the people. I'm one of you. I appreciate you, care for you. I love my family. I love my county. I love my country. God bless you. My name is Alan Slavin, and I'm a devout Christian, and I believe in principles that are moral. God bless.
Good afternoon. My name is Robert Stoltz, and I want to thank the Transparency Coalition for today. Our founding fathers are smiling upon us today with this get-together. So to begin with, I am a lifelong resident of Walker County, and my family has lived in this county for over 100 years. I'm a board-certified physician assistant, and I've practiced primary care medicine for over 25 years. I've also been a small business owner for 20 years. I am a Christian, and I'm a conservative. I'm a supporter of our senior citizens, our educational system in the county, our Second Amendment, and our veterans. The following are just a few issues that are important to me for our county moving forward. To begin with, I would like to see small business growth. I would like to see the entrepreneurial spirit sparked and grow our small business base in this county. Number two, support for our farmers and our agricultural community. My wife, Rachel, at the back of the room, one of the best things we ever did was to purchase and operate a small farm. It's hard work, but we love it, and I would encourage new farm growth in our county. Number three, continued improvement of our infrastructure in the county. Roads, bridges, right-of-ways. Number four, as citizens, we need to work with our law enforcement agencies. The spread of illicit drugs is unacceptable, so we need to support our law enforcement. I assure you, they want to take care of it. As a community in 4th District and county-wide, I want to start a program. If you see something, just like on the national level, you say something, you report drug activity. It's a public health issue, and it needs to end. Finally, public health. We're currently in a public health problem. With my primary care experience, I want to see us broaden our primary care base, as well as to improve the lives of our residents. Thank you very much.
We're going to turn it over to our panel, and they'll start with their questions.
Gentlemen, thank you for coming today. Currently, we have Walker County ordinances that address abandoned properties, junkyards, businesses, animals, and so on. The needs are different on Lookout Mountain than they might be in Rossville. If you're elected, would you work and support all the ordinances that are currently on the Walker County books? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. You know, that's interesting because that's when I got into the community, that's one of the first things I heard. There's 4 or 5 things that's underlying current out there. If I'm elected, I will support the ordinances because that's what we do. But one thing I would do is I would like to evaluate those ordinances. And I also wonder, and I would bring to the panel is the fact that do we grandfather certain people in? Because I'll give you an example. When you have homes that we talked about that were abandoned earlier, or things that have been there for years and years, and all of a sudden you've got people that may or may not be able to afford that. If I'm elected, I'm going to move the county forward. What I would like to do is evaluate all those ordinances, go to the people, talk about the citizens in that area, talk with them about that, and then come up with ways to move. And I'll give you an example of something. In our business, we operate in a new store environment. So when we build a store, we may have had a store there for 30 years. And a good example of that is just up the road, we remodeled a store. And I had a sign that was 40, 50 feet tall. The sign had been there and it had been protected. Then when we built the new store and we bought that new permit, all of a sudden that was grandfathered, was out of the equation, and we had to go with a new ordinance which would lower that sign. So I do believe that we improve and clean up and improve our county, but I think we've got to be careful and do it the right way over the right time. This board's elected for 4 years, and we're going to fix Walker County. But what we need to do is understand this is going to take time to do this and do the right thing and do it in the right timeline. Thank you.
I do support that. The reason I say once a establishment, a building, and an old car becomes a safety hazard, then it needs to be addressed. If it's just a building, I think that we need to go talk to the owner and sit down and listen. Let's see what your plans are. Are you going to renovate, or what are you going to do with this building to make it secure and to make it safe for the community? I would hate to see a child get in an abandoned car that's been sitting there for ages during the summertime, get inside the car and die from heat exhaustion or something of that nature. Or get in an old building or something and you know how kids are. I was the same way. I got out and I explored, I played. You get in an old building, you start running around there. What if a child falls through and gets injured and stays there? And wouldn't you feel bad about that? Wouldn't that just break your heart to see a child maybe even lose a limb or something because in a building hasn't been taken care of? Because it just sits there for no reason? Yes, I do support that. And I think it should be addressed one-on-one and decide what process and procedure should be done on that. So that is a very valid question. Kid safety. I think most of you have kids here. What breaks your heart more than anything when one of your children are hurt? So safety, yes. Thank you.
Well, the way I look at it, the ordinances is there, but the people that owns the property need to go, talk to them about it, because just like you're an owner of a house. And if you go to them and, it's just like the freedom we have in this country. You have property rights, but, you can put a fence up or go to the property owner and say, well, let's look at this. But don't go out there and say, well, you're going to have to do this. It's just like somebody telling you what to do. And you want your government to work officially for you in the ways that it needs to be done. And, just like a junkyard, some things, they got things built around it. If anybody had a junkyard to fix it up, fenced around it, or have no trespassing signs. People usually don't pay attention to trespassing signs no more. But the thing about it is, the property owner has a responsibility on a lot of things, but, sometimes you have to go to the property owner to see what's wrong or how to fix it. But if you have Big Brother on your back all the time, like the federal government might be telling you to do something, and are you able to do it? Or this situation. I understand quite a lot of things about everything. And I know some people around this area. And I'm not trying to be a bully to tell them what to do. We just need to, have a thing together, have a talk, get in there at the meeting or have a little meeting like this and see the best things for everybody, not just for certain people. But the ones that own the property, they have property rights. And if we get away with our property rights, it's not like I'm saying to do this and do that. I don't want to infringe on somebody's freedom. But we can talk about it to make sure it's done like it's supposed to, and the safetiness of the family. And, just like the older house. They could board it up or something, put boards around it, no trespassing, and hoping nothing, or if they're able to take it down. That's the property owner. We don't need to go in there and start bullying people and say, hey, you got to do this and do that. We need to be talking about things. Thank you, ma'am, and y'all have a good one.
Thank you. So with regards to codes and codes enforcement, I think moving forward as a 5-person board, basically we need to look at any problematic codes that need to be discussed and decided amongst our constituents as well as the board. I think you're walking a fine line when you're looking at certain codes and infringement upon people's personal rights. So I think the problematic codes need to be reviewed and studied before any snap decision is made. I personally prefer a complaint-based code system where complaints are done by neighbors or someone who has a concern. They go into the county, a codes enforcement officer goes out and investigates both sides to see if there is actually a valid code complaint. I think being respectful to property owners is the best way to go. Folks love their property. It's their house, it's their kingdom. So working with codes, I want to be respectful to property owners. I do want to be sure that we have a beautiful county, but again, I think everything needs to be reviewed before a snap decision is made with regard to codes. Thank you.
We have had several volunteer groups on north end of the county doing cleanup work to help their communities out. And I'm also sure we've had other groups on the south and middle also. Should the county landfill make concessions and not charge these groups for the trash and pickups they do to encourage more?
Well, in my opening statement, one of the things I said was volunteer work. And I think one of the most popular things that I've seen this county do in many years was the tire amnesty program. And there's no way to get those tires in to be recycled because a lot of people don't have the money it costs to do that. And I would encourage volunteer work in a lot of these areas, in the areas like Rossville, even though it's not in District 4. Those volunteer groups can make a huge impact. And it wouldn't make sense to me that if you got people that is given their time to help clean up our county, that we charge a fee to put that in there. So in my mind, we should encourage that and work through those type issues to help people, anyone that wants to improve our county. I also want to talk about, just briefly, a little bit about this code again, because I'm still a little bit, that's an underlying issue, and I want to step back to it. You know, when you have somebody that's been there all those years, my grandfather was out there on the farm and had back in the day, had different things, and he didn't have the money to move stuff around. So I would encourage us to review those codes, go back and look at it, make sure the code is right, and then come up with a plan to see what each individual situation fits. If it's a junkyard, or if it's something of that nature and it's been there for 40 years, or it needs to be cleaned up a little bit, go talk to them, work through it, plant some Leland cypress trees. You can enhance a situation like that without infringing on people's rights. So that would be what I would work on. Thank you.
As far as the cleanup and everything, I appreciate what Shannon's done for the tires. Designate certain days that you can go and get tires, because I don't know, but if you ever get a tire at the house, you think, what do you do with it? So, and this gives a way out. And I know I've been president of the Mount Pleasant Community Center. We had a project on the nearby cemetery that a community effort went and cleaned up the tires, and on that free day took the tires and disposed of them. I think that's a good thing. No charge. I think if it's a community effort and the community is together cleaning up areas to beautify our county, no, there should not be no pay. But residential, if you're just hauling out your garbage, cleaning out your garage, yes, there should be fees to sustain, you know, the area that we can have the opportunity to take our garbage or junk to the landfill and dump it. And that is a privilege, I think. I don't know if y'all remember, but I grew up at a time when a lot of the roads were dirt. You'd be going down the road and on the side of the road you'd see a couch that's been thrown out, or a chair, or a stove, or a refrigerator. That was their public landfill, was on the side of the road. So we're privileged to have the landfill, and I do appreciate the opportunity to have the chance to clean up tires and so on and so forth and not be charged. Thank you.
I'd like to say this: when you donate your time and do something that's not costing anything to go into the dump, you don't need to be paying anything. that's helping beautify the county. And one other thing, while we up here talking about the dump, I like to see a bigger, one that you go in there and bring stuff in there so you can recycle it. I'm not talking about putting a big dumpster there. I'm talking about having bins where we can get some things to do and get people to work there and maybe go through the sheriff department to be able to help, because there's certain counties that's doing this where the residential don't have to pay nothing to dump their garbage because it's paying for the use of the dump. And I'd like to see that in Walker County. We can do it. I mean, you know, we pay enough on a lot of things. And I'm not saying nothing against the administration. Like the commissioner, he's doing all he can. But something to help the county, to make money, to do. And it don't cost the people of Walker County. And they're able to dump their garbage there because the renewal is paying for them. And they're making money on that, to renew. And each thing like glass, plastics, and paper. You go to one county over in Dade County, and they got their prisoners do that. And their people of that county gets their garbage taken care of for free, and they keep it done. Thank you, ma'am.
I think it's a blessing for the county to have volunteer groups who are willing to pick up garbage, recyclables, etc. So definitely I feel like that should be gratis. I do not feel as though they should be paying. In many respects, it probably saves the county money because we don't have a county garbage crew with inmates, with an officer driving a vehicle, paying his salary, fuel, etc. So absolutely not. We love those volunteers. Thank y'all.
Walker County has a rich history of agriculture. The county at large presents, or at present, has a farm gate value of over $70 million accounted last year, making it the largest industry in the county. How will you make sure that the ag industry is supported in Walker County, and will you support expansion of this industry in the future?
Most definitely, I support extending ag and growing ag, not only for existing farms, but for the creation of new farms. As I said previously, my wife and I operate a small farm on the south end of the county. And farming is hard work. But this county has a huge tradition in farming. I would support no restrictions on our farmers. I think the current zoning restrictions are fine just as they are. We do not want to hinder or hamper existing farms. We want them to grow. We do not want to place any new restrictions because we want new farms to come to our county. It is our #1 industry, brings in a great deal of revenue. Farmers are wonderful people. I have met so many poultry farmers, cattle farmers, and just row crop farmers since I started this campaign. They are hardworking, they are genuine, and they are wonderful people to talk with. So that's the answer to my question. Thank you.
Well, I'm for ag. I'm for the farmers. I live out in the middle of farming country, and I got a lot of good farming friends, and and they work hard. The farmers pay in a lot of tax money to this county, a lot of chicken farmers in the county. And I hear people say, well, I don't like the smell, but you know, a lot of things do when you eat. And it's just like anything else, chicken and beef and all this. I thank God I raised my 2 boys down there, and like on my wife's granddad's farm. We did a lot of farming. I know he was in the cattle business. And then my grandbabies, they love the animals. And he taught them right what to love them. And the farmer, I tell you, is the best thing we have because we eat and living. So I'm a living proof of that, because I love chicken and beef and pork, because we used to raise pigs on our own property years ago when I was a kid. And my youngest boy, when we had little bitty pigs, he named one of them. And then when we had to get rid of him, he started crying because he said, my baby's gone. I said, but you gonna eat good, son. But I appreciate you and thank you very much.
Well, I think most of us in the county is somehow related to agriculture or something of that nature. You can look at me and tell that I like to eat. So a good vegetables is always good. A piece of chicken's good too. And if we're that prosperous in that aspect, why don't you enhance it? Why don't you go for it? Why don't you build on it? If you got a solid foundation, don't destroy it. You build on it. And I think it'd be good to get all the agriculture, the farmers together, and not a disgruntled meeting, but just get together and say, give me your ideas. Tell me what you think would make you more prosperous. What would be the steps that we need to take to make your crops better, to yada, yada, yada. And take these and take them seriously and group together and get a solution together to build upon that, make it more prosperous, and we can say, good job, everybody. Thank you.
Well, that's an easy question for me since I'm a farmer, so I will tell you, local grown is one of the hottest things in the industry right now. We are, in the grocery business, we are dying to find local farmers, local products to sell. That's what the consumer wants. And one of the things we're missing in Walker County, most people don't know the stats that you just gave. So part of what we got to do is we got to promote Walker County for what we're actually doing and get credit for it. And then another thing that I'd like to do, and I think that's where I could help this panel and this commission, is I'm use things at my work that I've learned where we use share groups. And I'll talk more about that with some of the other questions, I'm sure. But you know, when you have something like that and you need to launch it, whether it be recycling at the landfill or whether it's promotion of your farm and agricultural tradition and history, then I would go to different counties that's doing this well. I have ties. My brother was a dean of student activities and student enterprises at Berry College, who's an agricultural college. And then we would bring people in and we talk about what is working well in the state and in the tri-states. Tennessee has a local grown and pig Tennessee program. And I could envision us doing that for Walker County. See, at the end of the day, what we've got to do, over time, we've got to improve our budget, which the commissioner's been working hard on. We've got to continue that to get out of debt. But we've got to promote what we're known for. And then you start driving business. That could be agritourism. It could be children coming from schools to tour so that you grow people up just like we did, so you get used to it and you enjoy that. So the biggest thing we have to do is share group, understand how to promote that program. And just to be very, very clear, I would not do anything that would hinder a farmer because it's tough enough. Most people that's farming now, they do it because they love it. It's not because they're getting rich on it. Thank you.
Okay, that concludes our panel's questions. We're going to take some questions from the audience, but I had someone give me a card, so I'm going to read this question to you. Illegal substances is a big problem everywhere. What priority will you give to this issue, and what approach do you think will work best to help win this war? Anyone would like to go first?
I'll start this by telling you a story. My father, when I was a child, he would sit in a recliner and he would snore so loudly that us kids laughed about it. And one Christmas we got a recorder and we would sneak and record him when he was sleeping, and then we'd play it back to him later. And we thought that was the funniest thing in the world. But later on what I found out was my father had sleep apnea. It was a very, very serious disease. So while I will support the police officers, our first responders, our firefighters, They take care of us. They need all the tools they get, and they're doing a tremendous service. I tell you that story because usually there's an underlying problem with people that continue to go back to the well time after time with drugs. Not always. But I would also support our mental health, Lookout Mountain Services. The court system and Sheriff Wilson is doing a fabulous job with drug court. When they're taking these people, it's a new program, and they're giving them a chance with mentors so that they can take a chance and learn how to do a job and grow up and understand why they're using drugs, because usually, just like with my dad's sleep apnea, there's a reason that's going on. So I would attack that on all fronts. Make sure the law enforcement has everything they have. Be tough on the laws, but also have some outlets to try to get underneath that and find out what is causing this so that over time, hopefully we can change some lives of some people for the better. Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's a sore spot in my craw. I have seen alcohol ruin lives. I've seen alcohol take lives. I have seen drugs destroy lives. I have seen drugs capture people and take them, which at one time they were successful, they were beautiful people. They end up losing their homes, their jobs, their families, and next thing you know, they're living on the streets. Drugs, alcohol, they're demons. We need to get a hold of them. Sheriff Wilson, I appreciate everything you do, but as citizens of the county, we need to do something. We need to stand up. We need to take a stand. We need to educate our children. The story, I mean, it was mentioned several times about libraries, sports. Anyone that's got children here, it was advised that you take your children and have them involved in sports, 2 sports a year. 2. The libraries have things to draw them to the libraries where they can get their mind into books. And I know when I used to read books, I was that character when I read. Develop their mind. An idle mind is dangerous. We need to teach our children, control our children. And thank you for that question. Appreciate it.
Well, Slade brought something up. Well, I know about alcoholism. I'm not one, but my daddy, when I was growing up, he drank a lot. And I remember opening the refrigerator up and seeing nothing but Miller High Life in there. I remember eating cereal with water in it. But I had a godly grandparents that come along and take care of me. It brought me up the way that needs to be done. And my youngest son's marriage, they had 4 kids. My ex-daughter-in-law, she got hooked on prescription drugs. You don't know what it is till you see somebody done that. And, you know, you got to take care of this, what the family went through. We went through a lot with my kids. My grandbabies, they got scarred, but they're with my son. He got a good daughter-in-law now, and they call her mom. They love her. That's the reason why I'm running on this campaign. I'm running for the family. The family is number 1. And I guarantee you this big guy won't let the family down. And I got the experience on, like what I was telling you, I'll get started. As soon as, if I'm elected, I guarantee you will see me out there doing the job. It won't be saying, well, Mike, where you at? You won't have to worry about it. You'll see Mike. You see him out there now. And I love this county and the people. And I tell you, I love my church, Peabody Baptist. And Steve Wilson, he's doing a great job. The minister, he's doing what he can, but you know, all I can say is the people that's in here, that's running for office, I appreciate them all, just like Mr. Lamb and all of them here. And the ones that's running for the post. We got families. We have to think about our family. It's got to be number 1. That's what makes you good. That's what makes a person great. It's the family. And I thank God for the family.
This is a multifaceted problem with very complex solutions. I could probably stand here for an hour and talk on this. I spent 16 years working in Sheriff Wilson's jail in the medical department and saw every facet of addiction possible. I've also spent the last 7 years doing opiate addiction medicine. It's a very complex problem. As I previously stated, we've got to have community involvement, law enforcement involvement from all agencies, Sheriff's Department, Drug Task Force, as well as our local municipalities. From there, drug court. This is a deterrent that we've got to get these folks in. And then from there, treatment and long-term follow-up. Addiction is an illness, just like diabetes, high blood pressure. It has to be managed medically, spiritually, psychologically, with long-term follow-up. But it's doable. I see miracles every day. People who, for years, would stick needles in their arms, not knowing what they're ingesting or injecting. Fentanyl, heroin, methamphetamines. It is a disease. But as a community, we can band together with the previously mentioned agencies, and we can get a handle on it. Thank you very much.
Okay, well, 4 candidates were kind of restricted on time, so we're only going to have time to take one question from the floor. We'll get this gentleman right here.
Yes, before I start, would you folks, I know you're amplified, but I'm an old man, I'm hard of hearing, and I'm supposed to be staying home, and I'll do that as soon as I can find somebody to sell me a year's supply of toilet paper. But I don't know if you folks are aware of it or not, but part of your district is virtually has no fire protection. I'd like to know what you're going to do about that, and also what you want to do about businesses in the north section of Walker County.
I like to see a more good fire protection. I know getting our fire departments, to fix them up where they'd be more protection to the county. And was your thing saying about how much the cost was, or was it about getting the fire protection service out there?
Tell me.
Okay.
We don't have it.
Well, all I can say is, sir, we need to have it because you need it on emergencies. Because if you have to have an ambulance come out there and all that, but now down there where I live at, you got to go 6 miles out of the way to get back where I live at because the bridge is out. And the emergency people's trying to get down there to do their quickness. We need something down there so they can get their quickness. They maybe put another ambulance down there at Cedar Grove and get Kensington set up again to have emergency services. And about businesses, I like to see more business. I'm pro-growth. I like to see some businesses come here so you have a choice to what you buy from and not a monopoly. Just something for people to, save money. If we can get a business in here to help us save money buying stuff, I'm all for it. And I'm my wife, she's a small business lady, but here's the thing. I'm for businesses, pro-growth. And I'm for better ambulance service and fire protection, sir.
We definitely need fire protection. That decreases our homeowners insurance and just the security of knowing that, you got help just down the street when you need it. I have talked to, where in my area where I live, I've talked to one of the commissioners from Dade County, which that's where we get our water supply from. They're in the process of looking at building a new water station to pump more water to the area so that the supply of water could be generated to operate more fire hydrants. So that's one thing, and in the other counties, I have seen times when a house would catch on fire, and the time the fire engine got there, it was ashes. So, yeah, that's one of the priorities that we need to work on. And as far as business, once again, the community needs to work together on business. In my area, there was a Dollar General store that was proposing to build on site. For whatever reason, the community residents got together and got a petition that they did not want it built. So they built in Dade County. Now figure that one out. It just kind of blows my mind. But yet, they don't want to pay taxes, but they don't want business to generate taxes. I don't know. I'm still working on that one. But anyway, yes, we need to look at business. We need to look at better community service as far as fire halls, and just to make our lives safer and security for our children. Thank you.
So yes, sir, to answer your question, we need adequate fire protection throughout the county. As a 5-person board, I think we need to look at response times, staffing levels, to be sure we have adequate personnel in each sector of the county to respond to fire. The good thing is, most of our fire personnel are EMS trained, either paramedics or basic EMTs. So they're your first line of medical care during a medical call. So we want to ensure that there's adequate fire personnel responding to not only a fire, but a medical emergency, okay? To answer your business question, we all know Georgia is a business-friendly state. My goal is to have Walker County a very business-friendly county. With my small business experience, I feel as though I can be an asset to recruit new business to our county, which is good for all of us. Thank you.
It's a good question. That's very important. I'd like to look at, with the commissioners, sort of the entire map of the county, look at the gaps and make sure we have fire protection in certain places. The previous administration before, Mr. Shannon, we've got a brand new fire station on Lookout Mountain that's sitting empty. We got way ahead of ourselves on spending money before we were prepared for it. And then also, I'll go back again, there's a lot of people in our county and in Dade County, our neighboring county, where actually I live, we rely on the fire station. And there's a lot of volunteer work there as well. So I would like to look at the entire county plan, map out where we need to be, and then get a strategy to come up and be sure there's no gaps in that. As far as business goes, that's sort of my expertise, but I do know this. My owner and myself, we fully believe in the growth of small business. Between 60 and 70 cents on every dollar that is made in a local business, small business, local, stays in the community. So one of the things that I would like to see us do is make sure that we are aggressive about helping small business and reduce any kind of red tape that would cause them not to be successful. I think that's our first bet. Next, I've worked a lot with the chamber since I've been here with new stores, with Lacey over at the chamber next door here. And again, just like we did with agribusiness, I think we need to promote Walker County for what it is, its strengths, and see about getting new businesses where appropriate to come in, and that will help us with our tax base. And then if we work on some of these synergies that I've talked about to try to reduce expenses, a lot more that I could go into that I don't have time to today, there's definitely a way to enhance what is already going on. I do think this 5-member board is fantastic in the fact that, one, we won't have a disaster like we had previous administration before, but the commissioner that's in there, they've got a full workload. But by having a 5-member board, you're going to have good representation. There won't be any surprises to the commissioner, and there won't be any surprises to the citizens, because we'll be able to bring forward information and we'll also take back information. And then if we do this, there is a comprehensive 5-year plan that is on the website that I've been looking at, and it takes care of Chickamauga, Lookout Mountain, Rossville, Lafayette, Walker County. We've got a roadmap. What we need to do is make sure that every single step we take is right for the citizens, right for the county, and it stays toward our roadmap. And in a few years, we'll be where we want to be. Thank you.
Okay, gentlemen, we're going to let you start with your 2-minute closing statements. Who would like to go first? Go ahead, Mr. Noel. Alphabetically, you'd be the first one.
I'm asking for your vote. I got them road experience, transportation experience, small business experience, and I worked on a farm. I got 4 experiences that I don't have to look at a book to see how I get it done or get started. I got the experience at it. I got to bring the integrity and common sense to the job. I will work for you, and all. He won't have to say, hey, Mike, where you at? I'm right here. And I will start, and on the day of May the 19th, they say, Mike Nolan, you're the winner of District 4. I will take off a running. Because they say this is a part-time job, it's not going to be a part-time job. Because everybody in my district will be calling my phone down here. Hey, we got a situation. And then we work with the commissioners. But who's elected as commissioner? But the one that's in there now, I work with him, you know, but the one that gets elected, work with them. But what I'm saying is, I want to see Walker County to be number 1 in the state of Georgia. And we can do it together. And with God and everything and prayers, we can get it done. And I do thank Walker County, and I love this county.
Backed and served our great community, provide a voice for District 4. I'm able to collaborate with people, so no matter who we vote in, I'm very comfortable that I can work together to help make good decisions that's good for the citizens and the entire county. I believe everybody has a place in the county. We've got a lot of strengths. So I think that we promote agriculture, agritourism, small business, and large business where appropriate. For the first time now, this county has awakened and given people the opportunity to have representation throughout the entire county. This board, no matter who wins, the county has already won because we fixed a problem that needed to be addressed. Here's who I support. You'll see me support, and I will not harm or vote anything to harm. Police, firefighters, first responders, our health professionals. By the way, right now we're in a crisis. We're all relying on them. Teachers, volunteers, and county employees. For goodness sakes, I would implement some associate of the quarter. I would go out. It's none unlike me. I can negotiate with a multi-billionaire business owner, but I can easily go get on a backhoe or dozer at the water company and cover a field line if I need to. I've done that. So I can support and I can work with all the different levels of government. Qualifications, businessman for 40 years. I manage right now a multi-million-dollar budget that is many, many times more than the entire budget of the county. I'm great at reducing costs and identifying opportunities. And I would go into those departments, I would work with those people and find out what their problems are. I would do share groups and try to get counties to come and visit, and we showcase what we do. And then you go back and you have best practices so that those counties can improve, and then we can take what they're doing correctly and implement it here. And when you get fact-based ideas like that, not only do you grow business, but you cut expenses, and when you start to cut expenses and you get the deficit straightened out, then you're able to take care of those public libraries. So this is a multifaceted program here. I looked at this website the other night, and it is a business. It's a business, and it involves people. And I'm in the business, and I involve people with the grocery business. Last thing I want to remember is the charities and helping the food banks and the churches and the different people that make the full package come together. You can't do this just government. I'm not for big government. I'm for turning the people loose and getting them the tools and our associates the tools so that we can get the job done. And the number one goal, it may not happen in 4 years, but in 30 years, just like Chattanooga turned from one of the nastiest cities in the United States to is now one of the most traveled biggest destinations in our area. Walker County can do the same thing, but it's going to take a vision, and it's going to take people with some common sense that can talk to everyday people, but also talk to the businesses and work through the government to make things happen. If I come in, that's what I'll do. I'll work with everybody there is, and there will be no surprise votes. It will be transparent, and we will let everybody know what's going on. And I think you'll see Walker County succeed. Thank you very much.
Like I said earlier, my name is Alan Slavin. I'm running for District 4. I'm a devout Christian, and I'm one of you guys. When you talk to me, I can understand and relate. Not singing the blues, but I was raised poor. Tell everybody that I didn't know I was poor as I was. But through tough times, hard times, I was managed to become, in my own image, successful. I'm not rich by no means, but by hard work, determination, and perseverance, I succeeded. Got a great family, like I said before, great kids. They got great careers. If you want to understand management, raise kids. Educate them, get them where they're dependent upon themselves. Build lives on their own and families on their own. Most of my life I've been in sales. I trained people, educated people, hired people. I always had a budget. I always had to maintain a certain amount each day, week, month, year. I had a percentage of increase, a profit margin I had to maintain. The company that I worked for was adamant. They said, if you can't do it, we'll get somebody that can. I've done that for 20 years. I was always number one or at least number 2 in the team in everything that I've done. I love a challenge. I love people. I want to create a better tomorrow than today. God bless everybody.
In closing, I would like to say I have spent the last 34 years of my career working to improve the lives of the citizens in Walker County in healthcare. The last 25 years in primary care medicine. I had the honor of contracting with Walker County as a healthcare provider at the Walker County Jail for 16 years and the honor of doing the employee health clinic for 10 years. I understand county government. I understand how county government works. I was a good steward of the tax dollar in the jail, watching the bottom line, as well as the employee health clinic. That was my goal. I'm a taxpayer, you're a taxpayer, and I want to be a good steward of that tax dollar. I have worked closely with all of our elected officials, and they know my character. As I said previously, I'm a lifelong resident of this county, and my family has lived here for over 100 years, so I have a vested interest in this county. I love Walker County, and I look forward to serving Walker County in District 4 as your commissioner. God bless our country, and God bless our county. Thank you very much.